that, we started looking at the multicellular organisms. We looked at Daphnia magna, which is a type of water flea. With acute toxicity, it actually immobilized them. And of course, this is another problem because this decreases the predatory skills of the Daphnia. And at a higher concentration, it actually decreased the permeability of the membrane, and it also damaged the DNA structure. With C. elegans, it actually, again, restated that with increased alkyl chain length, that it will increase the toxicity. Again, confirming that that is where the problem lies. Then we looked at Physa acuta, and this caused grazing problems, and it actually decreased the movement as well. With D. rario, which is zebrafish, it actually caused hyperplasia. And with hyperplasia, that's a chronic inflammatory response. It actually caused hormone dysfunction, and also it actually enlarged the secondary lamellae, which can cause respiratory problems. So that is a huge concern as well. And then Lemna minor, which is duckweed. It's one of the most simplest plants, something that's eaten by many organisms, and actually decreased the growth rate, and it also decreased the function of the membrane-bound proteins. So then after that, we started looking at, okay, what's the big picture? Is there an effect in the food web? With the Physa acuta, we had looked at putting the ionic liquids into the water and putting it in with boiled spinach. Again, it caused the grazing rates and the ingestion rates to go down. And we've also seen that acute and chronic toxicity is evident in all these different species. So what's the problem? The problem is there hasn't been that much research in this area. We've only looked at just certain species of algae, and there haven't been that many studies in the microorganisms and the multicellular organisms. But we do know that the alpha chain link plays a central role. None of these studies have been done together, so that we have no idea if there is a problem between the producers and the consumers. We have no complete comparisons, and so we can't see if there's going to be a percentage of the ionic liquid ending up in an animal down the line. So for our future research, which we plan on doing this summer, is that we're going to set up a simulated ecological food web. One example that I had given was set it up with algae, Daphnia, and planaria. Now, we've already seen that it has caused problems in algae, so let's see what percentage of that will end up in the planaria and see if there actually is a bioaccumulation problem. Another thing we need to look at is the bacteria. You can use bacteria to not only absorb it, but you can also use it to biodegrade in an activated sludge community. So this is what we'll be working on this summer, and hopefully we can contribute more of the research to help with the engineers, and maybe we can modify these ionic liquids that they're using in industries and make them more green and make them safer for organisms and hopefully safer for us in the end. So that was it. Actually, I want to thank Dr. Matthew Perro. He was my sponsor at UNC Charlotte. He's a phycologist there. And Dr. Gloria Elliott, she is a mechanical engineer major. Professor, excuse me. She was the one who supplied the ionic liquids, and Dr. Perro is the one who knew everything about algae. His graduate assistants, Ryan Fawcett and Jennifer Reeder. And I also wanted to thank Jaclyn Jimbro. That's actually my mom. She was supposed to be here today, but we recently lost her this year, so I just wanted to say thank you. All right, do you have any questions? Yes?
I'll ask one. Do the number of charges per molecule change a lot within the various kinds of ionic liquids, or do they mostly carry 1 to 2 positive charges and 1 to 2 negative charges? I assume they're charge balanced.
I'm not completely sure. I know that the toxicity level depends on what type of cation is used. There are ones that are bromine, there are some that are chlorine based. But the only comparison that I could see was that the comparison between like the actual solvents and the ionic liquids. So they are a less threat than the solvents, but there's still a huge problem. Anyone else?
Thank you.
So Jack, I don't know which one's which, I don't know. So I guess it matters, I don't know if it matters, here we go.
I don't get these pictures, Wendy will kill me.
And, we only, what's the third speaker? Only have two.
I don't speak
He's right
English.
there.
Okay, gotcha.
Hello. Sorry, I'm late.
You wanna try to go?
Are you ready to go?
Okay. Jim, let me get a picture of
All right,
these
so,
two, and then we'll go.
And,
Thank you.
all right.